Raw materials can have a wide variety of descriptions. These can include chemical descriptions, internal abbreviations, or even confidential descriptions. At the same time, you want to be able to search for them and use them everywhere. This is all covered in ChemGes. To be able to show you all these types of descriptions, we have created an example of a raw material which, as you can see, currently has only one description. If there is only one description, then it will be used for each type of output. If you now click in the field for the description, a window appears in which all descriptions, as well as the type of these descriptions, can be seen. Let us now create a description for the SDS. This is quite simple, and for easier understanding we will always use the word description together with the type of this description in the following, so, in this case the name of the raw material as description for the SDS. Then it is only necessary to specify what kind of description it is, and the attachment of this additional description is ready. For this video we now create all types of descriptions possible by the system. There is no need to display this process separately for each description. Hover the mouse over one of these checkboxes and an explanation of the type will be displayed. The first type is the standard description, which is always used if no other description has been defined for the respective purpose. If you enter our substance, then exactly this description appears. If at least two descriptions are created and no standard description exists yet, then the shorter description is automatically assigned the type standard, provided that the shorter description does not consist only mainly of capital letters. The SDS description could also be called a confidential description, since only the name itself is given in the MSDS, but no numbers for unique identification will be shown. This description is also used in labeling it product contains, as well as in various printouts that could be assumed to leave the company. Therefore, if this substance must be output in the safety data sheet, then, as in our example, it is output without numbers and with this description. As a special feature, it should be noted that the numbers can be forced to be shown, if additionally the type standard or the type EU description is defined. The internal description is always used when a substance is only displayed on the screen. This is used if, for example, a substance has a long chemical description that is hardly ever used within the company, or if abbreviations are used internally, such as MEK for methyl ethyl ketone. The transport description is a special description used for UN numbers with generic NOS descriptions for the hazard triggers. It should be noted that if the raw material has its own UN number, meaning that a special UN number exists for this substance, this number takes precedence. For the type EU list there is the main description and the additional description. The only difference here is that the main description appeared first in the EU list. If an EU list is defined, this has priority over the standard description. So this will be output everywhere, unless another type is defined additionally. The INCI description is intended for cosmetic ingredients and is used for data sheets for medical personnel, for data sheets for the public and for the declaration according to Detergents Regulation EC 648/2004, in the safety data sheet. INCI descriptions are generally only available in English and are all already in the program. The original English INCI descriptions may occur more than once for a substance. In this case, you can define which of them should be used. In addition, we have added on customer request that you can use INCI descriptions in your own language. These then have priority over the original INCI description. For English-speaking users it makes no difference, but if your main language is not English, then the description of your language will be shown there. The type chemical description allows the definition of a substance name, which is then explicitly mentioned in Section 1 of the safety data sheet for a pure substance. However, this requires activation in the maintenance of the MSDS options. This is already preset for this example, but here are the steps necessary to define that the heading is output with a chemical description entered. In the first screen of the raw material you only have to hover the mouse over the descriptions to get all descriptions and markings displayed in a hint window. Translations for raw materials can be entered or viewed by clicking on the translation icon or on the corresponding button in the footer. In the overview that appears, you will see all existing foreign language descriptions for the respective raw material. For each language you can, if desired, define separately all the above types, e.g. safety data sheet descriptions or chemical descriptions. To do this, you only have to click on the line for the respective language. As a special feature, you can also create substance groups for raw materials. In the safety data sheet, all substances of the same type belonging to this substance group are added up and output together. Raw materials are considered to be of the same type if the hazard phrases are identical. In the maintenance of the substance groups, you then can specify whether a group with similar substances should be formed in Section 3 or in the labeling for the hazardous ingredients. In the respective document, only the group description is then output instead of the substance description. The same applies to the creation of ChemGes for the PCN notification to ECHA. The special feature here is that substance groups can be defined for MIMs, which are preparations that have already been reported to ECHA by the supplier. With substance groups, it is possible to determine whether a substance belongs to a group for the product declaration EC according to 648/2004. Only the first entered substance group is taken into account. Here the rules are different, groups are formed automatically and, if required by the regulation, descriptions are output. If available, then INCI descriptions are used. It would go too far for this video to explain the detergent regulation. If you need more information, please read the corresponding literature or contact our hotline. Of course, it is also possible to enter translations for substance groups. Substance groups supplied by DR software are already translated. The calculation to active substance can only be done if the corresponding value has been entered in the raw material. When creating raw material descriptions, it can easily happen that special characters used especially in chemistry, such as superscript or subscript digits, have to be used. To enter such texts, simply click on Edit and then on Character Table. The most important of these special characters are then displayed there for easy selection. As a special feature, we want to mention that superscript or subscript digits can be entered directly by pressing Ctrl or Alt and the digit. The selection of the correct raw material description within ChemGes is done as follows. If there is no description for a raw material in the desired language, then the other descriptions are searched intelligently until a suitable description is found. There is a special option for this. If you create a safety data sheet in another language and there is no safety data sheet description in this language, then you can specify that the safety data sheet description in your own language is to be used. Furthermore, it is possible to determine for pure raw materials which type of substance description is to be output in the safety data sheet as the product description. If the user's main language is not English, then for SDSs where the description is not available in the required language, it is possible to specify which language should be used as the first alternative language if the description is missing. Example, if one wants to generate a Greek SDS, and there is no Greek description, then it is defined here whether the description is output in the own language or in English. We are well aware that the whole thing will sound richly complex for many users. However, keep in mind that you can either use none of it, only a small part of it, or all of it. You will get a proper safety data sheet or label in any case, even if you should not use all this functionality. In any case, ChemGes can cover all conceivable cases, if that's what you want as a user.